Trenton seems to constantly be changing every time we turn around. Everywhere you look, you see some new building going up. And a lot of people attribute that to the Renaissance of Trenton. But there are other people who say that the old Trenton is disappearing. Well, what did Trenton look like 100 years ago? Let's take a look. The man around town was the dapper Welling G. Sickle, who was Trenton's mayor and outspoken proponent. His office was, of course, in City Hall down at State and Broad, where shoppers and business people all converged for whatever their needs. Justice in Trenton was handled at the Mercer County Courthouse, when its steeple could barely be seen through the trees. Political correctness had not arrived in the city 100 years ago, when institutions like the Trenton Psychiatric Hospital were known as the State Insane Asylum, and Chambersburg Columbus Park was home to the Deaf and Dumb Asylum. 100 years ago, you could walk from the corner of State and Warren and see the Forrest Rickey building was standing at one corner, and the majestic Masonic Temple with retail space on the ground floor and an auditorium on the fourth floor was its neighbor across the street. Making your way up Warren Street, you would get a glimpse of the remarkable Gothic structure of the Third Presbyterian Church, and just a little further up was St. Mary's Cathedral, back in a day when it had a steeple that seemed to reach up to the heavens. Many of our finest institutions could be found around town, even though St. Francis Hospital looked more like somebody's home. The old barracks was in two parts, and the old walls of the state prison seemed much lower. Trenton's most famous intersection, State and Broad, was bustling with carriages from all across the region, and it was not out of place to see the cooper or barrelman make his way up Hanover Street to his next stop. 100 years ago, there was no public library, so you had to get a subscription at the library company if you wanted to borrow a book. And in this town, you didn't go to college, you went to the normal school. And if a student needed more money from mom and dad, it almost necessitated a visit to the post office at State and Montgomery. Visitors could use the Calhoun Street Bridge to get to their destination, and if you wanted to show them the sights, it always included a stop at the Swamp Angel, which was then located where Perry Street came in to meet Clinton and Lincoln Avenues. And if you wanted to see how the rich folk lived, a stroll along Clinton Avenue was always a treat, but you would have always dreamt about living in the beautiful mansions of Greenwood Avenue. Every town